Hello, welcome to Mathematics. Do you speak mathematics? So let's get started. So, straight to the point lesson. Okay, we are going to talk about negative exponents. Okay, the rule about negative exponent is if you want to get rid of a negative exponent, move it to either the numerator or the denominator. Okay, the sign of an exponent changes to the opposite whenever it is moved. Okay. So recall that uh, when a is raised to the power n, that means that we are multiplying a by itself n times, right? So a raised to the negative n is the inverse of a to the power of n. This means that uh, we are dividing by a n number of times. So just remember that a to the n and a to the negative n are inverse operation of each other, as multiplication and division are inverse of each other, right? Inverse concept. So here is the rule right here. So if you raise an exponent to the power of negative n, it's equivalent to dividing, okay, uh, that exponent by a to the power multiple, right? So a to the negative n equal 1 over a to the n, and uh, 1 over b to the negative n is the same as b to the power of n. Okay, in short, what this means is that whenever I want to change the sign of an exponent, if it is in the numerator, I move it in the denominator, and if that exponent, okay, is in the denominator, I just need to move it in the numerator and the sign will change. So let's see how to do that in practice. So here are a few examples that we are going to work through so that we can clarify this concept together. Okay, so here we go. Now, example number 1. So we have uh, 3 to the negative 2 over 4 to the negative 3. So following the rule, this rule right here, okay, we want to get rid of the negative exponents. So to get rid of this negative 2, I will move the this um, exponent in the denominator. So, and the sign will change to the opposite. Now it will become 3 to the power of positive 2, or 3 square. And to change this 4 to the negative to the power of negative 3, to change the negative exponent, I will move it in the numerator. So that would be 4 cube, or 4 to the power of 3. Okay. 4 cube, that's 4 times 4 times 4, that's 64. And 3 square, that's 3 times 3, that's 9. Okay, and then I'm done. So that's how you apply these rules. Okay, let's see example number 2. So x is raised to the power of negative 7. So in order to get rid of that negative, I will bring that in the denominator. Whenever you move an exponent, the sign of it change to the opposite. So that would be x to the 7. And to make this exponent positive, I will move y to the negative 5 in the numerator. So that will be y to the positive 5. Okay, and then I'm done. Okay, since they don't have the same basis, uh, uh, it's already simplified as it is. Let's look at example number 3. Okay. First, we have numbers here. So let's see if we can simplify those numbers. Can we simplify 24 and 8? Yes. Um, 8 goes into 8 one times, and 8 goes into 24 three times. So that means 24 divided by 8 is just 3. That's what this means. So this 3 stays here. Now, I have x squared in the denominator, and I want to bring this x to the negative 3 in the denominator. All right. So times, sorry, x. Since it moved to the denominator, it would be x to the power 3 now. Okay. Now, since I'm multiplying two exponents that have the same basis, then I can add the exponents. If you haven't watched the video on the product rule, okay, go and watch it. When we multiply exponents that have the same base, we add the exponents. So this is 3, that's the numerator, over x to the 2 plus 3. 2 plus 3, that's 5. Okay. A quick notice right here. Of course, because we are talking about this rule, I have to go step by step. But you notice that we did not need this step right here in the middle, right? We just needed an alternative way of doing it. We are done, by the way. This is the answer. But an alternative way of doing it is that when we simplify the number, so okay, we can just decide to move this exponent right here, okay, in the denominator just by adding it. So x to the 2 plus 3. Okay, usually this is what you see and not this way. All right, so that would be 3 over x to the 5th power, which is the same as what we got right here. Okay, so this is like the shortcut. Now let's look at example number 4. All right, first we can simplify the number. Okay, uh, 4 goes into 4 one times, 4 goes into 12 three times. Okay, now to simplify the x right here, I want to get rid of this negative 8. That means I will have to move it in the numerator. Notice if you don't see an exponent on a variable or on a number, that exponent is 1. So I will put that 1 there. Now, since I don't have y anywhere else, and this exponent is positive, then I don't need to do anything more with the y. So now 1 times x to the power 1 is just x. So that's your numerator. Now I'm going to move this negative 8 at the top. So it would be 1, which is the exponent of this x right here, plus 8. Okay. So this 8, when it moves to the numerator, it becomes positive. Now, y? We have 3 in the denominator from dividing 4 by 12. And x, y square is unchanged. So let's rewrite this. 1 plus 8 is 9. So we have x to the 9 over 3y squared, and then we are done. Okay. So as always, before you do any of these problems, make sure that you pause the video, try it first before you see uh, the problem solved. Okay, here is an example number 5. So now this 5 is not in the parentheses. That means it's not concerned by this negative, this exponent that is right here. This exponent -6 only affect the exponent that are right here. So using the power rule of exponent, we are going to multiply, okay, this exponent that is outside with all the exponent that are inside the parentheses. So again, I already did a video on the power rule. If you haven't watched that video, please go ahead. So now we'll have 5, and then I'm going to distribute. So -6 times -3, negative times negative is positive, so that would be x to the positive 18. 3 times 6 is 18. Okay, and -6 times positive 4, that's -24. Negative times positive is negative. Okay, again, if you haven't watched my video on the rule of sign, please do. So negative 24. Okay, we never leave negative exponent in our final answer. Okay, it's not considered as simplified if you have a negative exponent. So to get rid of this negative exponent, I will need to bring it into the denominator. So that will leave me with 5x to the 18. Now I'm going to bring this in the denominator over y to the 24, and then I'm done. Once you bring it to the denominator, that would be your final answer. So that's it for this video. I hope negative exponent make more sense to you now. I'll see you in class.